Well, good morning. Welcome back to Pilot Finland as we continue the IBSA Goalball European Championships 2021 Group B action. Our second game of the day from Hall B is a fixture between France and Hungary. France, they've registered one victory so far at the tournament. They beat Spain yesterday 9-2. However, they were then defeated in the last game of the day, 9-3, by an irresistible Denmark side. Anja Christensen in red-hot form for Denmark. Meanwhile, Hungary, well, they're yet to get off the mark. 2 defeats at these championships for them. Firstly, in the opening game of the tournament, they went down 7-0 against Finland and then 5-1 against Spain. They're ready to go here, and here are the team presentations.
Number 2, Sanfrain Moret. Number 4, Coraline Gonzalez. Number 7, Wendoline Matos. Number 8, Lois Ronde-Pierre. Coach Anthony Puadel. Assistant coach Charlotte Vidalot. Staff Garten Hubaut. Team Hungary. Number 1, Julia Annette Meze. Number 2, Monica Lukaski. Number 3, Lilla Hadobas. Number 4, Felicita Simon. Number 5, Cindy Horvat. Number 7, Judith Kovas. Coach Rita Henner. Assistant coach Andrea Nulasine Prevoski. Staff Guala Kovas. Today's referee Kimon Bullet and Damas Rui. 10 seconds timer, Juha Vuokila and Kelly Roka.
So far then, France have found the back of the net on 12 occasions and have shared the goals out amongst the squad as well. The top scorer is Audrey Belquier. She's scored half of those with 6 efforts on target so far at the tournament. 4 of those coming against Spain, 2 of those against Denmark. The next highest scorer for France is Gwendoline Matos. Having scored on 3 occasions, then Louise Ronde-Pierre has 2 and Coralie Gonzalez with 1. And the starting lineup for France in this fixture, and it is France with their backs to us as we view the screen. From left to right, the number 8, that's Louise Ronde-Pierre. Number 4, Coralie Gonzalez at centre, and wide right, the number 7, Gwendoline Matos. France wearing their blue shirts with the red piping on the top of the shoulders and red cuffs around the base of the sleeve. And Hungary, well, they're in a chain shirt from yesterday, now wearing a blue and black number. And their starting lineup in this fixture. Going to be number 4, Felicita Simon at wide right in the centre. The number 3, Lila Hadabas. And then wide on the left, the number 2, Monica Lukashi. It's been slim pickings in front of goal for Hungary so far. Just 1 goal at the tournament to date. That came in the 5-1 defeat to Spain yesterday. Felicita Simon with that effort. It was a very closely fought game with Spain yesterday, has to be said. 0-0 up until half-time. And Hungary giving a decent account of themselves in that fixture in the opening 12 minutes. But once we got to the second period and Spain found the back of the net on a couple of occasions, the floodgates opened. And the game went beyond their reach. We've got just less than 2 minutes to go until the start of this fixture. Referees running through the equipment checks on the court now with the starting players. Be relatively new to goalball, or if you just need reminding after such a long wait, what a long 15 months it was from the last international championships. That was the African Championships back in March of 2020. So we've certainly had a bit of a wait to get to these European Group B championships here in Finland. The reason for these equipment checks, the players not permitted to touch their eye shades during open play. Doing so can result in a penalty against them. And the refs do these checks before the game just to make sure the patching is all in place correctly. No one is trying to work a way around the integrity of the sport and gain an unfair advantage. Has to be said, though, one of the best elements of goalball is that it is an entirely level playing field once they get out there on the court. The French team taking their positions defensively. It looks like Hungary are going to get us underway.
Next game between Hungary on my left and France on my right. I'd like to remind everyone to keep quiet while the ball is in play. If you have no white ones, please turn it off now. Thank you. Hungary will start with the ball. Quiet, please. Center.
Felicita Simon with the first throw of the game, diagonally to centre from wide right, blocked by the legs of Gonzalez. Hands it over to Ronda Pierre. Ronda Pierre down the middle. Comfortable for Hadebas. Back with Simon though, wide right once more. Looking for the gap and finding it. Hungary into an early lead. What that will do for their confidence. Felicita Simon doubling her tally for the tournament. Gwendolyn Matos from wide right. Lukashi behind the ball. Now with Matos again. This time goes diagonally to centre. Hadabas gets her legs behind it. Simon again targeting a would-be gap between Ronda Pierre and Gonzalez. Wasn't there this time. Ronda Pierre, ball in her right hand, lines herself up wide left, goes diagonally. It cuts in towards centre and Hadabas gets her feet behind it. Returns and it's off the legs of Gonzalez and out. Ronda Pierre was moving inwards to the right. Felicita Simon makes the save and will take the next throw. Spins 360 degrees. right-handed off the knees of Gonzalez, diving feet first to her left. Rhonda Pierre on the diagonal. It's off the body of Lukashi and trickles away into the goal. France level. And Gwendolyn Matos. Lukashi gets her body behind that one. Hadabas back at Matos, off the legs at 3 meters. Picks it up, steps back to the goal line, aligns herself, and then on the diagonal, it's bouncing. It's off the legs of Simon. And Simon returns back towards Matos, off the legs and forward. Reclaimed by Coralie Gonzalez, who wants the next throw. It's whipped towards the far corner. It was drifting away. It was definitely on target, but Lukashi was equal to it. Lukashi steps up, goes on the diagonal to centre. Gonzalez makes the block. Matos to the far corner again. Really precise throws from France. With plenty of defensive work for Hungary in this one. Coralie Gonzalez with the block at centre. Rhonda Pierre with the next throw off the legs of Hadabas at centre. She returns immediately down the middle, and Coralie Gonzalez returns the favour, blocked by Hadabas. Simon bouncing. Gonzalez, another save for the French number 4. From Matos. Winds up, well held between the ankles of Hadabas. Gonzalez makes the block and it's out on the left-hand side of the court from France's perspective. Rhonda Pierre continues wide left, goes on the diagonal, winds up right-handed. It cuts to the centre and it's blocked by Hadabas. Hadabas returns and tipped around the post by Rhonda Pierre, who was around about 3 meters in front of the goal. Rhonda Pierre leaves it for Matos, who switches to the right-hand side and finds the gap between Hadabas and Lukashi. France now with the lead. Simon, bouncing ball off Gonzalez. And Gonzalez will walk it back, put it in the hands of Matos, and Matos off the body of Simon, half a metre in front of the net. Important save, well held by Gonzalez. Gives it to Rhonda Pierre, who steps wide left, right-handed effort, off the legs of Hadabas. Hadabas towards the far corner. Again, on target, but blocked out by Matos. Matos at 1.5 metres, steps to the outside edge of the goal. And time off. A timeout called. Opportunity for the teams to regroup. Well, Felicita Simon got Hungary off to an absolute flyer. France replying in the form of Louise Rhonda Pierre and Gwendolyn Matos. Strong recovery from the French side. And they have possession as the game gets back underway. Matos steps to her left and shifts back to the right for the far corner, and it's blocked out by Lukashi. Bounce back in by the court marshal and given to Simon. The throw from wide left, it's blocked. Gonzalez gathers Hands it to Matos. Matos on the diagonal off the legs. The shins of Hadabas that got behind that one. Blocked out by Matos. Now Louise Ronda-Pierre steps wide right. And it's nearly out of the grasp of Hadabas, but not quite. Returned quickly by Matos to the far corner. Felicita Simon trying to establish her position. Blocked out by Matos. Matos uses it for Gonzalez. Gonzalez from wide right. On the goal line, stoops low, right-handed effort. Whips it straight at the legs of Lukashi. Hadabas returns for the far corner. Ronda-Pierre behind it, diving low to her left. Ronda-Pierre back to the goal line. Steps forward quickly at pace and releases the ball. Save was made by Simon, and then the return tipped away by Ronda-Pierre. Matos switches to the right off the body and out the side of the court of Lukashi. Lukashi follows after the dummy run from Simon. Off the legs. Gonzalez, quick to her feet, puts it in the hands of Matos. Matos sends one diagonally towards the centre. It's saved at 3 meters by Hadabas. Hadabas leaves it for Simon. Simon just bats it away. So that will be French ball. Midway through the first half. Score remains France 2, Hungary 1. Ronda-Pierre sends it down the middle. The return from Hungary is saved by Matos. Matos wide right. Plays it diagonally to the centre. Hadabas is right behind it and comfortable. Rolls it to her right, gives it to Simon. Simon trying to establish her position with the markers. Her effort is saved and tipped out by Coralie Gonzalez. Now with Matos. Matos to the far corner. Good save with the feet from Lukashi. Had to shift herself to the left as the ball approached the goal. And then Lukashi fires straight back down the line. It's off the body of Matos and out. Gwendolyn Matos steps toward the centre, but it's just right of it. Plays it diagonally toward the left. Save made by Simon. Simon finds the outside edge of the post, steps forward, right-handed, whips it straight down the channel ahead of a save made by Gonzalez. Gonzalez recovers the ball and sprints back to put it in the hands of Ronda-Pierre. Ronda-Pierre, right-handed, save made by Hadabas, feet sweeping to her right. Matos advances to make a save at 3 meters, wide right for France, and then comes forward to take the next throw. It's bouncing and it's blocked by the feet of Hadabas. Timeout called by Hungary. France looking for their second victory of the tournament to lift them further up the table. And of their 2 games today, on paper, this is a fixture that they would perhaps be stronger favourites for. They take on Finland later today at 5:30. The hosts undefeated so far at the tournament. Effort from Simon down the middle. Gonzalez makes the save and returns quickly, but it's straight at Hadabas, and Hadabas returns. Really good pace to this game. Ronda-Pierre on the diagonal and threatens to go under the ankle of Lukashi, but The number 2 stays strong, makes the block and returns throw down. Down France's right-hand channel. Save made by Matos. Matos returns on the diagonal. Simon with the block up quickly. Down the line, tipped away. Really good save. At full stretch from Rhonda Pierre. Needed to make that save as well. That was threatening to get just inside that left-hand post of France. Rhonda Pierre returns again diagonally. From left to right, save made. Just left of centre. And the return from Hadabas doesn't trouble Gonzalez. It's back with Rhonda Pierre. Rhonda Pierre to the far corner. Lukashi behind that one. Monica Lukashi leaves it for Simon. Simon down the centre. Gonzalez was diving right as the ball cut away to her left, makes the block with her feet, gives it to Matos. Matos down the middle, Hadabas is behind it, up quickly and returns looking to the far corner, and it just drifts wide in the end. Matos wide right. Down the centre, save made by Hadabas. Hadabas leaves it now for Lukashi. Lukashi back to the goal line. Left hand on the crossbar to align herself and then goes diagonally, looking for the far corner, and Rhonda Pierre was in position again. Didn't need to make a touch on the ball though as it pushed wide. Rhonda Pierre returns. Lukashi gets her ankles to it. Ball is out, but not intentionally so. Remains with Hungary. Hungary looking for the gap between Matos and Gonzalez. Can't find it. Matos returns diagonally off the legs of Hadabas. Hadabas up quickly and fires back. And has she found the gap? No, she's not. Important block with the hands. And there is a substitution for France, and they are introducing their top scorer, Audrey Belkier.
Substitution, Team France, out number 8. Lois,
Making way, the number 8, Lois Rhonda Pierre.
Audrey Belkier.
There's a really interesting battle between Audrey Belkier and Anja Christensen of Denmark yesterday. Both with plenty of power in attack and strength in defence also. Of course, Belkier didn't win out on the day, but 6 goals to her name so far certainly could pose trouble for Hungary. Lukashi out. Here we go, Audrey Belkier, first attempt of the game. And gets it beyond the reach of Hadabas, but not through Lukashi, who is diving low to her right. Lukashi returns down the centre, and Gonzalez blocks with the legs. Steps back to the centre of the goal, and now comes forward and whips it right-handed. Plenty of pace as that was skimming and skipping along the court surface, but the legs of Hadabas to the rescue. Felicita Simon off target. France's ball. Up here, right-handed, bouncing down the middle and well held by Hadabas, who then returns straight down the French left, but it's blocked by the legs of Coralie Gonzalez before it reaches Belkier. Belkier with the next throw though, it's awkward and it's still held by Hadabas at centre. I think she took one to the chin as she made that save. Returned by Lukashi. Lukashi's effort to centre, saved by Gonzalez. Gonzalez runs to hand it over to Matos, and Matos beats the shot clock. And Hadabas fires back at Matos. Down the French right. Here comes Matos, this time on the diagonal, but it's wide. Well wide in the end. Simon looking for the marker at 1.5 metres. Comes forward. Their effort saved. Belkir receives it from Gonzalez, who retrieves the ball from the neutral zone. It's bouncing towards the far corner, and Belkir throwing straight ahead of her. And straight at Felicita Simon. Simon with the ball. From 3 meters. Dummy run from Lukashi. Doesn't do enough to distract the French defense. They maintain their position, and Belkir makes the block. Belkir, right-handed. Off the shins of Hadabas. Ball recovered at 6 meters and dropped back for Simon. Simon, well, didn't get the alignment right at all there. Was never going to trouble France with that effort. We've got 20 seconds left to play in this opening period. And Hungary survive another scare. Bouncing effort from Hadabas towards the French right. Save made by Matos. 10 seconds to play. Matos returns and it's wide. The legs of Simon had the inside of the post covered. Simon, last throw of the dice for Hungary in the first half. Bouncing, and it's saved by Gonzalez, and we are indeed at half-time. Well, we have a very close encounter here.
Half-time score, Team France 2 and Team Hungary 1.
Suspect Hungary will be somewhat content with their performance so far. They've stayed within reach of the opposition. Just need to increase their rate of conversion in the second half. They've been well organised in defence. I have to say, Lila Hadabas making her presence felt at centre. There's going to be a change for Hungary at the interval. They're introducing Julia Anita Mete, wearing the number 1. Replaces number 2, Monica Lukashi.
Number 2 out.
As you were for France.
In number 1, Andrea Belkir. No. Number 2, Monica Lukaski. And in Juliane Meze.
The French side remains Belkir wide left, Gonzalez at centre, and Gwendolyn Matos wide right. Mete comes in at wide left for Hungary, and Lila Hadabas remains at centre, Felicita Simon on the right.
Second half of the game between Hungary on my left and France on my right. Half-time score, Hungary 1, France 2. Now, Hungary made half-time substitution. Out number 2, in number 1. France will start with the ball. Wide wings, center.
France will start the second half. Georgie Belkir right-handed and forces Hadabas into a leg save. Hadabas returns, and
Belkir was drifting into the right there. Gonzalez made the block, but that right side of the goal had started to open up for Hadabas. Felicita Simon for Hungary, off target, and the ball is out. Matos down the middle. Hadabas makes the block. Hungary didn't register a victory in the 2018 Group B Championships that were held in Poland. Finished bottom of Group X at that event. Desperately seeking a route back into this one, and hopefully the first victory. Good effort, and is it snuck in? It's well held, and it is held. Excellent defence from Julia Mete. The effort had bobbled up over her, was flirting with the goal line, and she got a big right hand to claw it away and puts it out, and has to have a small equipment check to reposition her goggles. It's France's ball. Gwendolyn Matos from outside right puts into the centre. Hadabas with the block and then returns straight at Matos. Matos to her feet quickly. Will leave it for Belkir. Belkir switches to wide right, bounces one towards Simon. It's off her chest, and then a hand reaches out to gather the ball. Feeling for her position on the court. Now bounces one towards Belkir. Belkir with the block. And on the goal line, right-handed, steps forward and releases one down the middle, and it's off the chest and bounces forward. Collected at 4 metres by Hadabas and returns diagonally. Matos gets her legs behind it. Matos forward, right-handed on the diagonal, plenty of power, and it's just into the back of the net. It was beyond the outstretched legs of Hadabas. Ricochets off the chest. Felicita Simon, and then the backspin takes it into the goal. France 3, Hungary 1. Mete on the diagonal. It's off the feet of Gonzalez and then onto the feet of Belkir. Belkir returns, and the shins of Hadabas make the block. Hadabas up. Returns off the feet of Gonzalez at 3 metres, and then she carries it to a wide right position. Goes right-handed and whips it out of the court. Mete, bouncing effort. Not beyond the outstretched arms of Gonzalez, who is reaching out low to her right. Matos returns. It's into the centre, and it's saved by Hadabas. Hadabas will leave it for Mete. Mete. Her attempt. Comfortable for Belkir. Belkir returns. It's off the body of Mete. Mete returns it. From the left, it cuts diagonally. It's saved at centre by Gonzalez. Gonzalez bounces it back to Belkir on the goal line. Belkir throws directly ahead of her. A substitute. Not a substitute, apologies. It's a timeout call for Hungary. France. Now they have that 2-goal cushion. Here a little more comfortable in this game. 8 minutes 57 seconds to play in the second half. Hungary are going to need to double their goal tally for the tournament just to draw level in this one. Simon. Effort saved by Gonzalez, and then Belkir throws from centre, saved on the left of the Hungarian net by Metze. Metze returns on the diagonal, and Belkir gets her legs behind it. It's blocked out. Equipment check for Coralie Gonzalez. And she's approved to continue. Matos gets us back underway, goes down the middle. It's off the legs of Hadabas. Hadabas plays it to her left. But Metze steps forward, goes right-handed. It's bouncing on the diagonal, and it's not over the legs of Belkir, but it is beyond her reach. Coralie Gonzalez has to recover from the neutral zone. Timeout called. Now, it will be France's ball when we come back, but it'll be interesting to see whether they think they have time to shoot or whether they will just bat it into touch. Hand over possession to Hungary. And indeed, Matos taking no chances. Better safe than sorry. Cede possession rather than concede the penalty. And offer Hungary a lifeline in this game. Diagonal effort is going to stray wide. With the French left-hand post. Audrey Belkir with the ball. Skips to the opposite half of the court, now wide right. Right-handed effort, bounces one straight ahead of her. It's off the body of Metze. Metze gathers the ball, steps up for the next throw. Right-handed down the centre, off the legs of Gonzalez. Gonzalez goes to the same spot to throw from as Belkir did, but not on target. French team following the sound of the ball to shift themselves left and make the block. Quick fire return. Save made. Gonzalez blocked out. Gives it to Belkir. Belkir steps up, right-handed. Whips it straight ahead of her, and Simon is there, ready and waiting. Simon's effort not on target. And the ball is out. Return to 1.5 meters for Belkir to pick up. Belkir whips it down the centre. Generated a bit of bounce, not enough to take it over Hadabas. Hadabas's return equally doesn't trouble Gonzalez. Matos now. Hadabas with the save between the ankles. Less than 7 minutes to play in this second period. France 3, Hungary 1. Gonzalez back to the centre of the net. Stoops low to whip it right-handed straight at Hadabas. Hadabas returns. Gonzalez makes the save. Gives it to Matos. Matos wide right. And it's beyond the legs of Hadabas, not beyond the body of Simon. Drifts to centre, and then Simon dives on it. Picks it up, and her effort just spins away. Once it got to the net, the more it started to drift. The ball with France. Audrey Belkir from centre. Gonzalez makes way to open up the space. She throws down the middle. It's off the legs of Hadabas and out the side of the court. Now with Simon. Simon stoops low, right-handed, spins 360 degrees to her left and fires down the French left. Save made by Belkir. Belkir forwards now, right-handed effort, bouncing awkwardly down the middle, and it's away from Hadabas, but more importantly, away from the goal. Gives it to Mete. Mete on the diagonal. Valkyr gets her legs behind it, blocked out. Play. Valkyr with possession for France. Runs her left hand across the top of the crossbar, finds the centre of the court, and then releases a diagonal ball toward the far corner. Mete. Mete. Goes right-handed, cuts the ball down the centre, and it's saved by Gonzalez. Gonzalez gives it to Matos. Matos steps forward. Right-handed diagonal ball. It's a good save from Simon. Wrong-footed Lila Hadabas at centre. Gonzalez makes a save, hands it over to Belkir. Belkir drew the ankles of Hadabas, but not quite enough power to then get beyond Simon. Simon returns, it's off the legs and trickling towards the goal, but outside the left-hand post of France. Gonzalez, her legs came across in front of Belkir. Her toes made the touch that nearly took the ball into the goal. They switches and the French defence follow. Belkir behind it, wide left for France. Blocked out, she'll pick it up at 1.5 metres before carrying it to the goal line, hands it over to Matos. Matos scoops forward and releases one off the legs of Hadabas. Hadabas wastes no time, returns down this left-hand channel of France, save made by Belkir, and Belkir whips it. It's off the body and well held by Mete. The ball just skipped up off her hip. She rolled backwards to catch it on her stomach. Belkir then makes a save. 4 minutes, 10 seconds to play. Belkir lashes one goalwards. It's over the legs of Hadabas. Simon behind her with the hands to make the important block. Now, Gonzalez blocks with her legs and keeps the ball in. Bounces it backwards for Belkir. Belkir not taking the chance. Cedes possession to Hungary. Hadabas effort blocked by Belkir. Belkir tapping on the ball to locate it and hand it over for Matos. Matos with pace, save made by Mete. Mete leaves it now for Hadabas. Hadabas bounces it straight down the middle and Gonzalez never going to be troubled by that one. Was in position and did not stray from it. Their effort held in the hands of Mete. Timeout called by Hungary. 3 minutes 21 left on the clock. 3-2-1 that clock reads, and how appropriate. The scoreline is 3-1. In favour of France, they open the scoring with Louise Rondepierre. They've had 2 more from Gwendolyn Matos. It was Hungary who got the first goal of the game through Felicita Simon. Simon has us back underway. Belkir saves and then fires viciously with a quick return. Save from Hadabas. It's back at Belkir. Belkir to her feet again at 3 metres. Steps back to the left edge of the post and then runs forward and whips one diagonally. Mete is behind it and a substitution has been called for Hungary. Julia Anita Mete making way. Number 2, Monica Lukashi, set to return.
Substitution in Hungary. Out. Number 1, Julia Annette Meze. In. Number 2, Monica Lukashi.
do have further options on the substitute bench. Hungary. Yet to see Cindy Horvath or Judy Kovac in this game. Hadabas for the far side. It's out. Matos returns down the centre, save on the ankles of Hadabas. Now with Lukashi, first throw since returning to the court. It's down the middle and it's off the body of Gonzalez. She steps backwards, it's just right of centre, drifts a little further right, going for the far corner, can't find it. Lukashi was swinging her legs round to make the block, didn't need to in the end. Dummy run from Simon, followed by an effort from Lukashi, saved at centre by Gonzalez, handed over now for Belkir. Belkir comes forward, right-handed, bounces one straight ahead of her, and it's saved by Simon. Simon sweeps a right hand over the court before then having a right-handed throw. String running under the markings on the court so that the players can orient themselves in relation to the goal in front of them and behind them defensively, depending on what phase of play we're in. It's with Gonzalez for France. Right-handed on the diagonal, and it's wide of the goal again. Lukashi was swinging the legs round to make the block, but the effort just drifting away. Less than 2 minutes to play, 1 minute 44 on the clock. Lukashi comes forward, big right-handed effort, and it's just wide. Not sure whether Belkir got a toe on that or not, but it certainly wasn't far wide from Lukashi. Now Belkir comes forward. It's off the legs of Simon and out. Hungry ball. Simon straight down the line, and it's blocked by the legs of Belkir. 1 minute 20 left on the clock. France looking like they're going across the finishing line in this game. Down the middle, Gonzalez makes the block. Simon, dummy run, Lukashi with the throw. Block is made by Matos and the ball is out. 55 seconds left to play. Matos down the middle off the legs of Hadabas. Hadabas plays it to her left for Lukashi. Lukashi steps up, right-handed, throws straight ahead of her. And it's off the body of Matos, but blocked out, and that is surely that. Won't be enough time now for a late resurgence. Gonzalez whips it wildly, and it's out the court. 30 seconds to play. And tapping to distract the French defence, but the effort from Lukashi well wide. Stretch Belkir. Belkir. It's bobbling and it's dealt with by Hadabas. Needs to be quick. 20 seconds left to play. Simon. Off the body of Matos, who switches to the left, and Belkir now wide right. Timeout called with 16 seconds left on the clock. It's game management time for France. Can run the clock down now. Be entirely comfortable. The clock timer, 10 seconds. Take a throw. They run it down now. Hungary will struggle to even have a first attempt before the end of the game. Matos is going to get it back in play quickly though. Adabas with the block up to her feet. Straight back down the middle. Block made by Gonzalez. The clock ticking down. Gonzalez will have one last throw, and it's saved by Hadabas, and the final siren does indeed go. France are the victors. Celebrations on the court. They register a second victory of the IBSA Goalball European Championships 2021 Group B. 3-1. They defeat Hungary. They will head into the afternoon game at 5:30 against Finland in winning form. But it is the host nation who will be on court next here in Hall B. That picture coming up. Starts in 45 minutes, a 1 o'clock start local time. Finland taking on Denmark. Should be a great game. Or actually, Finland in the European Championships 2021 Group B.
Aika